One of your main jobs in life is to make a significant contribution to your company and to become extremely successful in your career. And your success is going to be largely based on two laws or principles. The first law is called the law of accumulation. And it says that every extraordinary achievement in human life is the result of thousands of ordinary efforts that nobody ever sees or appreciates. And the second law, which is a sub-law of this, is called the law of incremental improvement. And it says that great successes in America, successful men and women, are those who become better incrementally, a little bit at a time, every hour, every day, every month, every year. Nobody makes big jumps from where they are to where they want to be. What they do is they go to work, and especially they go to work on themselves to get onto the fast track and to stay on the fast track. And in this session, I'm going to give you a series of ideas, the best I've ever learned, on how you can dramatically accelerate the speed at which you grow to the top of your field. Now, let's start off with the first of all. You've heard this many, many times. The first thing you've heard is that knowledge is power. Knowledge equals power. However, it's not that simple. It's not just knowledge. It is practical knowledge that can be applied to getting the critical results in your particular field. It is knowledge that you can use to increase your value and to increase the value of your organization. So the more knowledge you take in that you can use to do something with, the more successful you'll be. In one study a little while ago, they concluded that the top people in every field were different from the others because they simply know more than the average person. They have more knowledge. It's one of the finest and fastest forms of leverage and one of the best ways to accelerate your career that you can imagine. Because we know, number two, is that information and knowledge is doubling every 7 years in America in every single field. That means that in order for you to keep up, your knowledge has to double every 7 years as well. In fact, we know that today, this year, they will publish 2 million articles and 100,000 books. And in order for you to keep current, you have to double your knowledge, or you don't stay in the same place. You actually start to fall behind. Now, the third point is that your success in life will be in direct proportion to the amount of useful information that you have. Sometimes all you need is one key idea at the right time and the right place to totally change a situation, to have an insight or to see a method or a technique that you can use that can dramatically change the whole future of your business and your career. Now, here's an important point with regard to information and knowledge, is that the amount of knowledge you have can be like the amount that is in a bucket or a pot. When you start off your career, the amount of information or knowledge that you have is limited. So the amount of rewards that you have is equally limited. Your rewards and your knowledge, your practical knowledge, will be equal. As you increase your knowledge, you increase your rewards. As your knowledge and information goes up, your rewards go up, and as your knowledge and information go up higher and higher, your rewards get higher and higher. But here's the point. Your job, of course, is to put as much knowledge and information into this pot as possible, but there's a leak. There's a drain in the bottom of the pot. What does it mean? It means that some of your knowledge is draining out all the time. It's becoming obsolete. So if you stop putting new knowledge into the top of the pot, you don't stay in the same place. You actually start to fall back. Now, what's one of the finest ways that you can upgrade your knowledge? Stay on the fast track. Keep up. And it is to read. And it is to read 1 hour per day. Reading 1 hour per day can change your life. Reading 1 hour per day will make you an expert in as little as 3 years. Reading 1 hour per day will make you a national authority in 5 years. If you read 1 hour per day, it'll translate into approximately 1 book per week. Now, this doesn't mean newspapers. This doesn't mean television guides or magazines. It means reading mental protein, reading something that teaches you something educational, something that helps you to advance in your field. The average adult has approximately 72 discretionary hours a week. That means that you sleep 8 hours, you work 8 hours, you've got 72 hours left. What we're saying is take of those 72 hours and spend 7, or tithe if you like, invest 10% of your discretionary hours in your field. It'll translate into a book a week. It'll translate into 50 books a year. It'll translate into more than 500 books in 10 years. Now, the average American, the average adult American, reads less than 1 nonfiction book a year. If you were to read only 1 nonfiction book each month, not once a week, but once a month, that would put you into the top 1% in professional development in America. So read 30 to 60 minutes each day, read 1 book a week, read 50 books a year, and it'll move you to the top of your field. Absolutely guaranteed. Number 5, key to keeping up and staying on the fast track, is use what we call the Stu Leonard method. Now, what Stu Leonard is one of the most famous retailers and grocery store operators in the world. And what he found is he reads voraciously. He reads and he takes notes. But what he does is he takes and he'll read a book and he'll underline all the key points in that book. Then he turn the book over to his secretary, have the secretary type up and take not a synthesis, but a synthesis of the key ideas, type it all up and make it available to him and to other people so that he can go over all the key ideas in a book, and his staff can do the same thing too. So use the Stu Leonard method by reading books, underlining the key points, and then having somebody summarize them all. The sixth key point to keeping up is to read key magazines. There are key magazines in business and there are key magazines in your field, and you need to keep current with them. At the same time, you need to discontinue magazine subscriptions and newsletter subscriptions and even newspaper subscriptions that don't contribute to your major goals. So read Forbes, read Fortune, read Success Magazine, read Inc., read the key trade magazines in your field. Why? It's because the top people in every field read the magazines in their field. The inferior people read the newspapers, they read irrelevant things, or they just watch television. Number 7, use what is called the rip and read method. Most people are getting too much information and they can't handle it all, leading to what is called pileitis. We keep making piles and piles of materials that we intend to read sometime but we never get to, and the material becomes more and more obsolete. So use rip and read. Now what is this? Well, what you do is, first thing when you get a magazine is, instead of reading the magazine the way it's designed, which is to take you past all the advertising, what you do is you go straight to the table of contents, you look through the articles, you decide only the articles that you want to read, and then you go straight to the article. Go straight to the article and rip it out. Rip it out and put it into a separate file for reading later, and then discard the magazine. Throw it away. In other words, discipline yourself not to become distracted to read everything that's there. Read only what's important, or you'll end up not only not reading what's important, you'll end up not reading anything. So use the rip and read method and put it all into a file, and this is a file that you follow up with on what we call gifts of time. Now, a gift of time is time that you have between meetings. Gifts of time are times that take place during transition. We often call it transition time. When you're traveling, when you're waiting for a plane, when you're waiting an appointment, you carry your file with you and you take out your file and just read through the articles. I will tell you this, it's absolutely astonishing how much material you can keep current with, because in an entire article there only may be 1 or 2 ideas. By the way, always read with a red pen or with a highliner so that you can circle, underline, or highlight the critical ideas so that you can instantly go back to those. Sometimes going back to a critical idea 2 or 3 times is all it takes to cement it into your subconscious and have it available for life. Now, number 9 is learn how to read a little bit at a time in the great books. Again, we use the law of incremental improvement. Everybody wants to be a well-educated, well-rounded person. But what they have found is that if you take the great books, and there's about 100 of them that are put out by, I believe it's the University of Chicago, if you read 15 minutes each day in the great books, you will read all the great books in the course of your lifetime. So at the end of the day, instead of reading something light or pablum, just take a great book and read 15 minutes and think about it, sometimes before you go to sleep. I was speaking to the author the other day, and he said this wonderful thing. He said, if each day you read 1 poem, 1 short story, and 1 essay, in 3 years you will have read 1,000 poems, 1,000 short stories, and 1,000 essays, and you will have spent less than 1 hour a day. Not only that, you'll be one of the best educated people in the entire country. The quality of your thinking, your ability to use your mind to accomplish your results will expand dramatically. Now, if you're going to do a lot of reading, and by the way, some people say, well, I'm not very good at reading, then learn how to read. If you didn't learn how to read in school, then take remedial reading courses, because all readers are leaders. Leaders are readers, and readers are leaders. So learn how to speed read. First of all, learn how to read well. Set it up as a challenge or a goal, then learn how to speed read. Take a speed reading course. The fact is, they guarantee that you will triple your reading speed in the first lesson in a speed reading course, and they're right. They do it. Use what is called the OPIR method when you read a book. The OPIR method is, first of all, overview. Take a quick look at the book. Outside the book, the writer, the author, the jacket, the quotations, to decide whether you want to read it at all. One of the fastest ways to save time in reading a book is to throw the book away if it's no use to you. Second of all, do a preview. Now, in a preview, what you do is you read the table of contents through, and then you quickly flip through the book to look at the title headings, look at the subtitles, look at the layouts, charts, graphs, and so on, to get a feel for the way the book is read. Third, you do what is called an in-view. Now, an in-view, you always read for purpose. In other words, once you've done your overview and your preview, say, what do I want to get from this book? And then in your in-view, seek the purpose of what you're looking for. And number 3 is your review. Immediately after reading the book, do a quick review of the book. This will take about half to 2/3 of the time it takes to read a normal book, but it will double, triple, quadruple the amount of retention. Your retention level will go up to about 80% in reading a book like this. And you'd be amazed at how many books you can get through. The 11th key to high achievement and to keeping up is audio tape learning. Listen to audio tapes in your car. Audio tape learning was one of the greatest breakthroughs in education since the history of the development of the printing press. The average person drives 12,000 to 25,000 miles each year. That works out to 500 to 1,000 hours that you spend behind the wheel of your car each year. You know what that means? It means 12 and a half to 25 40-hour weeks, or 3 to 6 months of 40-hour weeks, or 1 to 2 university semesters. You can become one of the best educated people in America simply by listening to audio cassettes as you drive around. Audio cassette learning has changed the lives of more people than you can imagine. And remember, you're in a big competition. If you're not listening to audio cassettes, your competitor is listening to audio cassettes and is getting the edge on you. Number 12, read book condensations. There are companies that condense books in written form and in tape form so that you can get the entire essence of a book that would take you 4 or 5 hours to read in 40 or 45 minutes. So subscribe to those. I subscribe to all of them, by the way. The 13th thing that you can do to keep up with your field is go to seminars. What is a seminar? Well, a seminar is not only a learning experience, it is compressed time. For every 1 hour that you spend in a seminar, it takes the seminar presenter 100 hours of study and preparation to learn and refine and distill that material and make it available for you. So you can save yourself many, many hours, which means eventually weeks, even years, by going to seminars conducted by experts. Don't go to seminars conducted by people who teach at universities. Don't read books written by people who are teachers. Read books, go to seminars, learn from people who have practical, successful experience in the field, and sometimes you'll get more information in a day or two at a seminar for a couple of $100s than you could get spending hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars doing it yourself. Be an absolute seminar fanatic. Number 14, use networking. Networking is a powerful way to keep up. We found that 54% of managers who get ahead rapidly in America, 54% spend a lot of time networking. They get together with people in their field. They get together with people outside their field. They're always getting good information, good advice, good insights. They're always current with what's going on. Some of the very best information, most timely, most valuable knowledge that you will get will come from networking on a regular basis inside and outside your field. By the way, in the same study, they found there were a lot of managers who were very competent and effective at getting the job done, but because they didn't network, they were missing an enormous amount of information, and stuff was going right past them. So become an excellent networker. Get together for breakfast, get together for lunch, get together on a regular basis. Number 15, and this can help you as much or more than anything else, is join professional associations. Now here's an interesting point. Of the thousands of people that are in any particular field, only a few people join their professional associations. Only a few people attend on a regular basis. The rest of them don't, but I'll tell you this, it's almost always the best people who are members and who are active in professional associations. So here's the key. First of all, go and listen to all the speakers. Attend all the meetings. Remember, they are under the gun, and they have an onus to try to bring you the very best and most valuable speakers with the very best and most valuable information. Sit there and take notes copiously. Never sit there passively in a talk. Nobody's brain is good enough to absorb it, so sit down and take notes all the time. But second of all, go to all the workshops that they hold, because sometimes they'll have some of the best educational workshops you can imagine. In my associations, I've found that joining the associations and attending all the meetings can save you 5 solid years of hard work in your career. And third of all is attend all the annual meetings. Remember, the annual meetings are designed to be as valuable as they possibly can for the members of the association. So attend them all. It's amazing how much you can learn. Network, get around with other people. And finally, the last one is MBWA. This is considered one of the best ways to get timely and relevant information. What does it mean? It means get out and get among them. Move around with other people. Ask them questions. See what they're doing. Ask what they're doing. 75% of effective executive, effective managers, effective people are always moving around with other people. keep up with your field, stay on top, commit yourself to staying on the fast track.